What's been your experience over the last 3, 6, 9 months in terms of the demand for your workers?
It's really an interesting crossroads that we're at compared to coming out of the recession of '01 or coming out of '09. Is now we've got this low unemployment rate, which you would think that it would turn to be an employees market that they could dictate, but it really tends to be, and that's why we're not an employer's market, and that's why we're not seeing a lot of wage growth. The biggest issue is the skills gap, is whether it's in the technology side, supply chain. We're seeing that there isn't enough of the right candidate base for the positions as the economy's changed.
Well, so explain that a little bit, Tom. We'll put up a chart here in a moment of a survey that you did about what the biggest concerns of employers were. And that skills gap, the need to find skilled workers was number one. That's their number one concern. If that's true, doesn't that give people with skills some pricing power?
It does, but it's really a small select part of the workforce. Is where we have a big break is how things, take marketing for example. It's really gone from what used to be advertising and public relations to being more analytics focused. And so we've got a whole swath of employees or potential employees that grew up in an economy that wasn't data analytics focused, and now the jobs that people the employers want to give are very data analytics focused. So we've just got this in-between phase where the experienced people don't have the education and the knowledge, and the people that have that don't have the experience. And it's just a very interesting intersection that we're in right now.
Yeah, and Tom, just to further elaborate on that, if you take a look at the Bloomberg here and look at a small business survey, sort of what they're looking at, the quality of labor is one of their biggest issues. Taxes were 21% of respondents, and the quality is 19%. But in your survey, you also pointed out that identifying candidates who fit the culture was a big issue. I don't know if I know what that means.
So one of the big challenges that happened when we had the go-go era of 2002 to 2007-ish is that companies were hiring anybody and anyone, and e-commerce was still a new thing for us. And companies just hired and hired and hired to get seats filled and get as much output as possible. What we've happening now, post the Great Recession, is that people realize companies that have a stronger culture, where people are happy, are more efficient, and they outperform the S&P. And so companies don't want to risk their culture and going on a really strong tangent, a hockey stick, lower left to upper right on your graphs, to giving in and having a bad culture where you hire the wrong personality and it upsets the apple cart. So they're saying, we have a skills gap, but I'd rather have 4 really good people doing the work of 5 people than to have 5 people when one of them's bad. It upsets everything. So companies are a lot more sophisticated in making sure and realizing that culture is actually going to help efficiencies.